courtesy of NOAA, of the earliest hurricane in the Atlantic in 78 years. Hurricane Alex right now, one for the history books. Now, this is also the strongest January Atlantic hurricane in 61 years. And yes, very rare to have hurricane warnings in January, which is what we're seeing right now in the Azores. So this is a Cat 1 hurricane moving over the Azores and slated to bring some decent amount of rainfall, which will cause life-threatening flash flooding. We're also going to see destructive waves and mudslides on tap with this. Now, beyond the Azores, this will stay a Category 1 through the weekend. But notice something interesting here about the track. It is now curving toward Nova Scotia. It was originally headed for Greenland, but actually, the nor'easter that we're seeing move up the east coast is affecting the path of this. So Hurricane Alex will eventually wrap around that.
Market's off to its worst ever start to a new year, in large part because of collapsing oil prices. The Dow closed the week down nearly 400 points on Friday, about 2%, and leaving the index below 16,000. The S&P 500 index lost 41 points, or just over 2%. The Nasdaq was off 126 points, or more than 2.5%.
Plunging oil prices, sliding stock markets. 2016 doesn't begin off to a great start, with storm clouds gathering over the global economy.
Price of oil has dropped again.
Oil prices, they plunge. Dropping price of oil.
So is it going to be a big, long, rainy season, or is there any light on the end of the horizon there? Well, we asked investor and financial commentator Jim Rogers what we should expect.
First thing you need to learn is don't listen to governments, don't listen to bureaucrats, and don't listen to politicians. They always say everything is okay. There were people who before 2008 said it was going to end badly. There have been people since who said it's going to end badly. So just start learning your own judgment, your own ideas, because the idea that the solution to more debt, to too much debt, is more debt and more spending is ludicrous. It's ludicrous that grown-ups would stand there and say something like that, and yet that's what governments all over the world have been doing. It's going to be worse than 2008, though. You're going to see bankruptcies. The debt is much higher all over the world now. Even China now has a lot of debt, which it did not have in 2008. No, I'm afraid you're going to see a lot of problems. Everybody's debt has gone through the roof. Money has been printed. Be worried.
The American dream is supposed to come with a white picket fence, a house, the latest model TV, a car, a nice savings for retirement. But that's not how most Americans are living today. Instead, it's more like we're living paycheck to paycheck. At least that's according to a new survey released by the personal finance website Bankrate.com. They asked 1,000 American adults a bunch of questions about their personal financial situations, and it doesn't look good. About 63% of them said that they have no emergency savings for things like if they get sick or if their car breaks down. Most said they didn't even have savings for something as simple as a $500 car repair. And their report is backed up by others. A recent Federal Reserve report, which polled a lot more people, found that more than half of Americans lost most or all of their savings after the crash in 2008. And another recent survey said that a whopping 62% of Americans have less than $1,000 in their savings account. This is the state of the American dream today. Everyone is living one paycheck away from being broke. Well, for one thing, interest rates on saving accounts are a joke. Banks charge a ton of fees. And of course, we're all saddled with student loans, medical bills, and other debts acquired chasing after that non-existent American dream. According to the Bankrate survey, people with retirement accounts often have to raid them for cash, which means they'll have to keep working that much longer. So yeah, forget that American dream about living comfortably. Now it's more like we're just paycheck to paycheck.
I spent 20 years trying to get us ready for this. We used their technology to strengthen our planet. But it won't be enough.
I see them in my dreams. They're coming back.
And this is how the device looks. And then we plug it in.
That part goes into the brain,
This
right?
part goes into the brain. The light goes into our device, which goes directly into the brain.
That was the story we did from MIT last year. Its researchers have developed a revolutionary interface enabling a connection between a human brain and a machine. But Professor Anikeva, in charge of that research, insisted that this technology had purely scientific incline and for now could only be used for studies of the gray matter or injecting medication into ill brain cells. The US military now looks to take the neurotechnology to a completely next level. The Guardian reports that it basically wants to create cyborgs by connecting computers to soldiers' heads. The research is conducted by the US military's Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA, which we know too well by these robot videos. The new program is called Neural Engineering System Design, or NESD, which aims to develop an implantable neural interface connecting humans directly to computers. Philip Elvel, the NESD manager for DARPA, said its goal was to upgrade the tools that we have to really open the channel between the human brain and modern electronics. At the moment, human-computer interfaces are able to connect between 100 and 1,000 brain neurons to a machine at a time. DARPA aims to refine this technology to connect individual neurons. This would give much finer control, reduce noise, and speed up communications between a human and a computer. DARPA's website confirms the news, also citing that among the program's potential applications are devices that could compensate for deficits in sight or hearing by feeding digital, auditory, or visual information into the brain at a resolution and experiential quality far higher than possible with current technology. Considering that DARPA's research has an end goal of military application, it's not hard to imagine where that could be used.
Facing the harsh truths of this world isn't for the weak. But it's time you finally know who you are. The true circumstances of your birth. complex forces at play. You'll have all the answers in time. Some want you to fulfill your destiny. Once you accept who you are, things will be so much easier.
The devil has many names, identified by his number. 666. Does that mean anything to you?
The beast. He's coming.
Excuse me. What?
Sir, over here, please. What's your name?
Ren Shima-sama?
Thank you, Mr. Shimasawa. You'll need to register in order to get your watch. That's your ID chip. Welcome to Gateway.